Yellow, everybody. Yellow. Does anybody else's dad say that when they answer the phone? Just go yellow, and you go green, blue. Oh my god! All right. Nope, just me. Do you guys think I'll ever come up with like some sort of slogan to start off my videos? Some sort of consistent thing to say? I don't either. Okay, I'm in a hotel room, obviously, but that's just how committed I am to the craft. The craft. Committed to the craft. All right, I don't love making these wrap-up videos, so I was going to turn off the air conditioning. All right. I don't love making these monthly wrap-up videos so late in the month. It's the 14th now, so yeah, almost halfway through the month of May, and now I'm going to start talking about books that I finished in April. They kind of aren't as fresh in my head now. I usually have things like, obviously I don't take notes when I read books or make a script or anything. It's not that kind of channel. I just kind of talk off the cuff, but I usually have, ideas swimming through my mind as to what I want to say. And then if I wait this long, they're just not as fresh, but whatever. Let's get into it. So, the first book I finished in the month of April was Captured by Michael Sarian, published in 1987. So this book I found out about because someone posted it on Instagram, a picture of it, and that someone is Gloomy Girl Books. So shout out to her. She's awesome, and she posted a picture of it, and I saw it, and I was like, this is incredible, but I was busy, so I didn't do anything, and then kind of forgot about it for a few weeks, and then went back and tried to find it and couldn't, and then I had to message her on Instagram, and she showed me the book again, and I went and bought it online because the cover is like a VHS tape. It's like flipped sideways. I mean, you're probably looking at it right now next to my face, but there are a lot of books now that are put out with VHS tape related covers, as I've talked about before, to kind of cash in on this resurgence of nostalgia, this love of nostalgia that my generation is so into at the moment, and VHS related stuff is a part of that. But this book came out kind of in the heat of the VHS boom, the VHS era, as it were, and you don't see too many books like that, especially one so blatant. I mean, I don't have the book with me, but it's got like a black text block, and the back looks like the back of a VHS tape, and it's very cool. I just had to have it, and then I read it as soon as I got it. It is very much like a neo-noir type. It's like reading a noir crime novel, but set in the late 80s. The story follows this New York City cop who retired and moved out to, I think, the Hamptons or something, somewhere out on Long Island, and opened up a video rental store. And so he's just living his existence, working as the manager of a video rental store, and he's kind of a terrible character. Like right away, so the premise is like right away, first scene almost, he starts cheating on his wife, or maybe they're just girlfriend. Maybe it's just his girlfriend, but they've been together a long time, and he goes and cheats on her. And when he wakes up in the morning, the woman who he was cheating on her with is dead in the bed next to him with like an ice pick sticking through her head, and he doesn't know what to do. Of course, they had been videotaping themselves overnight or before they went to sleep, if you know what I mean. And so he takes the VHS tape and because he's like, this is gonna look bad, But he has the VHS tape proving that like someone walked in while he was sleeping, killed the woman next to him, and left. So he wants to take this VHS tape to the cops or whatever, and it just kind of goes into this intrigue of like who's like doing this, who's trying to frame him, why. It kind of ties into like VHS tape related movie piracy and like the mob, and it's a little silly just because of how dated it is, but I did enjoy it. The prose was kind of quick and quippy. There was a lot of words thrown in like that felt so hilarious. Like characters would regularly say things like natch, like for naturally, I guess. Was there ever a time where people said natch? Like, hey, do you want to go get some dinner with me? Oh, natch. Oh, natch, bro. Did people say that? I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know. But they did in this book, and it was hilarious. And then at one point, someone kills someone else, or he kills someone, and he's like, your lifetime membership just ended. Like at the video store. It's hilarious. And then there was a good kind of conclusion, twist ending type thing. So I enjoyed it. It's not a perfect book, but I had a lot of fun with it. I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. This laptop is resting on a stack of pillows right now, just so you know. So if it's wobbly wobbly, that's why. The next book I finished this month, or last month, the month of April, was Dust, which is Silo number 3, published in 2013 by Hugh Howey. So I talked about the first 2 books in the Silo series, and the premise of the Silo series is it's like a science fiction book series trilogy. So this was the final entry in the series, about these people living in a silo buried underground, like 200 stories tall. They have lived in there for generations. They don't know why they live in there. They don't know who built this. They don't know why they can't go outside, but they know that the outside is like post-apocalyptic, and if they went outside they would die, and they have all these crazy rules that they live by. And you slowly, with the main character, sort of unravel these mysteries of how the silo came to be, who started it, why it is the way it is. And the thing I want to say without spoiling anything or talking specifically about book 3 is that this series was very carefully and very clearly plotted, with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Like, I don't think he was making this up as he went along. The author clearly put a lot of thought into this, and the way that things work out in the end is satisfying and makes sense, and this whole thing feels plausible. I think the Silo series is brilliant, and I love it. Probably 4 out of 5 for this book, but honestly, the series as a whole might be 4.5. It is great if you like sort of near-ish future science fiction that is fairly plausible, unfortunately. Yeah, great series. Someone's doing their motorcycle. All right. The next one that I read was The Willows by Algernon Blackwood, published in 1907. This is a novella by classic horror author Algernon Blackwood. This is the first thing that I've read by him, and the way that I would describe this book is scary woods are scary. That's what it's about. Scary woods are scary, man. It's about some scary woods and some people who go in them, and it's scary. Not much actually happens. This is very much about the atmosphere, the descriptive, eerie, brooding prose that describes this journey through this liminal space of these woods. And it's atmospheric and creepy and very enjoyable to read. It puts you into this space, but on a whole, not a whole lot happens. which is fine. It's short, so it didn't, really drag or get boring. But it is what it is, right? It's classic horror. It is one of the early examples of this type of weird fiction, and I enjoyed going back and experiencing this, and I liked it for what it is. I don't know that I loved this story, but I did like it a lot, and I think it was worth my time to read. I think I would put a 3.5 out of 5 for my own personal modern enjoyment of it. Yeah, that's The Willows. Next one I read. Oh, I was gonna say too. I was gonna do a little shout out, sort of. So I'm not great about participating in monthly reading events. Not that I don't like them or I'm too cool to join in on things, because I'm not. But April was Old School April, run by Kelsey over at Slime and Slashers, who's a cool person and she has a cool channel, and I watch her channel, and I like nostalgic sort of books, middle grade YA 90s kind of stuff, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll participate this year. There are other channels I enjoy, Alex over at the Book EEBS and Coral at Pretty and Paper Cuts, and Cameron over at Library Macabre, and other channels were all kind of hosting and participating, and I've been seeing this for years, and I was like, oh, well, I'll join the Discord and I'll see what I can do. And of course, I'm just not good at these things, right? I didn't do anything. I didn't necessarily choose my books any differently than I normally would. But I will say I kept track of everything I watched and read this month, and I went to add it all up and count how many points it was all worth. And then I was going to submit it on the last day of the month, and then work sent me to Michigan, and I had this super long day of driving and doing stuff, and then before I knew it, the deadline was passed and I didn't submit anything. The team I was on won, so it didn't matter, I guess. But I just wanted to shout it out because while reading events aren't necessarily my thing, I think I just have to read what I want to read when I want to read it, which you can do with this event. But I just wanted to shout it out because having seen all of the work that Kelsey puts into it, it's really quite mind-blowing, honestly. I don't know how she puts in the kind of effort that she does to this reading event, but if it is something that does appeal to you, next year you should jump on, because the amount of effort she puts in is insane, and kudos to her and everyone else who runs it, because I think if you're into that thing, it's amazing. So I just had to throw that out there, because the next book that I read was Grizzly Attack Against the Odds by Todd Strasser, published in 1998. I mentioned this series briefly on my channel. I think there's 6 books in it. It was a 90s middle grade horror-ish series that I had as a kid, and I really, really liked. I think I had this one, the shark one, and the gator one. And I think I always wanted Buzzard's Prey because I could see it in the beginning, but I never had it. But yeah, I've always wanted to find one of these in the wild and give it a read, and I finally found this one, and I read it pretty soon after picking it up. And it's a lot of fun. It's not at all like Goosebumps in that it is not it's not necessarily what is the word I'm looking for? Silly, funny, zany. Zany is the word I'm looking for. It's not zany. It's very much like a very real sort of survival tale. It is about kids who get into these situations with dangerous animals, and they have to survive. And it feels very... I think if you were a kid reading this, you would be like, oh my God, this would be terrifying. And it's very realistic and well written. And the kids seem like real 12-year-old kids, not kind of silly, younger than they should be, which is often the case in middle grade books. You're reading this and you're like, I don't remember being that amateur, I don't know. not amateur. I don't remember, whatever. They feel like real kids. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's about this kid who goes to Alaska to stay with his uncle for the summer, and through a series of events, there is a grizzly bear who has like trapped them in the cabin, and they have to find out how to survive. And it's fun. Yeah, it is what it is. It's fun. 3.5 out of 5 for me on that one. And then I read The Lost Scrolls Rogue Angel number 6, published in 2007. This is by house name Alex Archer, but this is one of the ones ghostwritten by Victor Milan. I have talked about this series a lot. Obviously, I'm reading book 6 now, but I've got a lot more subscribers since the last time I talked about it. I don't think I read one of these since last year sometime, and so I'll explain it briefly. This was a Gold Eagle action-adventure series that was published monthly or bi-monthly, and the house name Alex Archer, but it's ghostwritten by various writers. The first 8 books are written by Mel Odom and Victor Milan, and it flip-flops. And so far I've noticed the Mel Odom books are fantastic. I love it. This is like a Tomb Raider knockoff. It's like Tomb Raider crossed with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and it's so much fun. I've noticed the Mel Odom books are great, and the Victor Milan books are so bad. Like Victor Milan wrote some books under his own name. One of them is called Cybernetic Samurai, which you think that is a bad taste book. But I've seen that at the store, and I have not bought it because these Victor Milan Rogue Angel books are so bad. And maybe he was just treating these like a paycheck, and books with his own name on it he puts more care into. I don't know. But it just feels like Mel Odom writes this compelling story that goes together well, and these adventures and fight scenes make sense for the story, and it's engaging. And the Victor Milan entries feel like cobbled together nonsense. I don't even remember the plot of this one. It involves her and some petroleum conglomerate from Europe and some lost scrolls. I don't know, dude. It didn't make sense. And the action scenes, it gave me the feeling of like, oh, it's been 7 pages. There needs to be an action scene. There's some guys with guns, and it's like, why? Why are there those guys with guns? I don't understand. Like, the action scenes felt very shoehorned in, and I know I'm reading like an action genre that was written monthly, like bi-monthly. But I have higher standards, okay, than that for my trashy action. Anyways, this one wasn't great, so 2.5 out of 5. But it's a great series so far. Next one I read was The Ice King or Burial Rites, published, or why do I keep saying published? Written by Michael Scott Rohan and published in 1986. I read this with the Elusive Exclusive Book Society, and it was interesting. I was going to say the Exclusive Book Society video was a lot of fun to do, and you can check that out. I'll link it down here if I remember. No, I will. I'll link it. I'll remember. And it was a lot of fun, and you should watch it if you want to hear us rag on this for like an hour. But the book itself is about, oh boy, what is it about? It is about this archaeological dig site in like a coastal town in the UK or Scotland, I think, and they dig up some relics from ancient Vikings, and it turns out that they have dug up an ancient Viking who has been brought back to life and is going on a killing spree, basically. And so when this first started out, it felt very much like it was going to be a slasher, like a straight up horror slasher with a Viking brought back from the dead, which is so cool, and I was so on board. And then after that, like, first chapter, we get tons of convoluted, poor writing, and all these characters who just I did not care about, and just stuff happening with the characters that didn't matter. And then the third half, oh, I did it. Oh my God, I did it again. If you watch the Elusive Exclusive Book Society, I said the same thing. I said in the third half, and they made fun of me. And I just did it again. Guys, I'm not pretending. This is how I am. Oh, all right. In the third of the book, it turns into like almost like a Norse mythological fantasy book. So tonally, it's just all over the place, and it's got a lot of problems, as I've mentioned. But there are some fun scenes. There's some scary scenes. There's some good kill scenes. There is some fun and interesting Norse mythology. I don't know. It's kind of all over the place as a book. I would probably just give it 3 out of 5, and that might be being a little generous. It might be closer to a 2.5. Yeah, I'll give it 3. 3 out of 5. Yeah, then I read The Hero of Ages, Mistborn Saga number 3 by Brandon Sanderson, published in 2008. I feel like I had a lot to say about this when I finished it. I might be running out of steam on my Brandon Sanderson. When I first started this channel, I think around that time I was like, I really want to get more into epic fantasy. Brandon Sanderson is a name I'm not familiar. Obviously I'm familiar with the name, but I've never read anything. And so I started at the beginning of his publication, and I've read a handful of books now, and I've enjoyed some of the stuff I've read. The Mistborn trilogy, I really like the world that has been built. I feel like Brandon Sanderson, obviously his books are too long. And he has this tendency to explain something, and then later he'll explain it again, and then he'll re-explain it, and then he'll over-explain it, and then later he might explain it again. And sometimes things are so complicated in his world that I'm like, oh, okay, thanks for refreshing me. But most of the time I was like, I got it. I got it, dude. I know. Get an editor. I know. I get it. And then the third book was weird, right? And I'm not going to go into too many details. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't read it. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's doing some weird stuff, whatever. And then the ending happens, and I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. If you guys have read it, you might know what I'm talking about, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. That's all I'm going to say. I'll give it 3.5 out of 5. It's got amazing world building. It's a fun world, and I'm glad the series came to an end. I don't know that I hate the ending, but it is interesting. I guess it kind of makes sense. I just don't know how I feel about it yet. Moving on. All right. After that, I read Goosebumps, of course I did. Number 32. We're working our way. There's 64. Oh, this is the halfway point. Only took me a long damn time. So this is The Barking Ghost, published in 1995. The Barking Ghost is fun. It is about a kid who moves to a new house, and there's a bunch of woods behind him, and he keeps hearing all these dogs barking, and nobody else is hearing the dogs barking. And are they ghost dogs? This one was like, okay. It was decent, and then the ending was fun and zany, which I love that when a Goosebumps book does that. And yeah, I would say mid-tier Goosebumps. It's not on the lower end. It's mid, maybe upper mid tier. 3, leaning 3.5. I'll be generous. It's a 3.5. 3.5 out of 5. And then I think we're on the last one. My ring light is covering my tab here. Yeah, the last one I read in the month of April was Animorphs number 32. The Separation by K.A. Applegate, published in 1999. This is the one with the silly starfish cover. I love Animorphs. I really do. I think I'm gonna get an Animorphs tattoo, and I think I'm gonna get Rachel turning into a starfish right here on my chest. What do you think? You think my wife would like that? I think she would. I think she would like that. You guys let me know in the comments, right? Like, should I get Rachel turning into a starfish, or Rachel turning into an alligator, or Rachel turning into a rat? Why does Rachel get all the best cover transitions? She just does. She just does. Maybe I'll get all three. Maybe you guys should vote. Which Animorphs tattoo should I get? Yeah, can you imagine? No, I really should, though. I love it. Animorphs is great. And I feel like, to my knowledge, I've talked about this before too, but somewhere around book number 26 or something, Kay Applegate kind of brought in some ghostwriters to help her out. And I think she still wrote a handful here and there. And to my knowledge, the way that this process worked was she would write an outline and give it to them, or maybe a story skeleton. Is that a term? Probably not. And they would kind of fill it out, give it back to her, and she would touch it up. And I felt like when the ghostwriter era first began, there were some real clunky entries. But I think things are getting better. Like the last few books I've read have been great. And I think this one, we've had some very serious, very deep, very philosophical entries lately, with some very real, hard-hitting, dark stuff happening. And so this was kind of the silly, fun book to kind of, I think, lighten things a little bit, because the Animorphs can be a fun series. It's not always darkness, but this is an example. And it has Rachel turning into a starfish. Some mean kid comes by on the beach with like a shovel for sand and like chops her in half. And then she like regenerates, I guess, into like two starfish. And then when she comes back, or like demorphs, you've got like two different personalitied Rachels. And one of them is like a bit of a B word. And the other one is just like scared of everything, and it's kind of silly just watching the Animorphs like deal with these two different sides of Rachel. It was good. It was entertaining. I liked it. So I'll give it a 4 out of 5. Whew. And Motorcycles guy is back. I don't know if you can hear that, but there you go. That's it. That's April. Yeah. There you go, guys. Have you read any of these? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Do you want to tell me about them? Please do. Vote on your tattoo. My tattoo. Vote my tattoo. Vote for my Animorphs tattoo. All right. See you guys.